Have you ever met someone who hurt you so badly that even thinking about them makes your chest tighten? You know the type. They betrayed your trust, lied to you, or took advantage of your kindness. And yet, you find yourself forgiving them silently, without saying a word, and choosing to never speak to them again. Today we're going to dive deep into the secret psychology behind this silent forgiveness. Why some people do it, and why it can be the most powerful move you'll ever make in life. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to Psyche Edge, because here we explore the hidden corners of human behavior that most people never understand. Most people think forgiveness means reconciliation. They believe that if you forgive someone, you must let them back into your life, send them a smile, or even act like nothing ever happened. But that's a misconception. Silent forgiveness is different. It's quiet, internal, and entirely for yourself. It's a decision that the other person does not need to know about. In fact, the most psychologically healthy forgiveness often happens when it's completely private. You see, when someone hurts us, our natural instinct is to lash out, to argue, to seek revenge, or to at least express our anger. This is our brain's way of trying to protect us, to regain control. But when we forgive silently, we're taking control in a much deeper way. We're choosing to no longer allow that person's actions to dictate our emotional state. And this is powerful because it rewires the way your brain processes trauma. Psychologists explain that silent forgiveness is not about letting the other person off the hook. It's about releasing the emotional chains they've placed on you. When you forgive in silence and cut someone off, you're saying, "I will not let your actions control my life anymore." This decision is liberating. And it's also incredibly intelligent from a psychological standpoint. Your mind stops obsessing over the betrayal, the lie, or the pain. Instead, it focuses on your own growth, your own peace, and your own future. Here's the secret most people don't understand. The act of never speaking to someone, again after forgiving them, can be more powerful than confrontation. Confrontation may feel satisfying in the short term, but it often drags you back into the same cycle of anger and resentment. Silence, on the other hand, allows you to disengage completely. You're no longer giving them the energy they crave. You're no longer trapped in their emotional web. And studies show that cutting off toxic relationships is one of the most effective ways to reduce stress, anxiety, and even depression. Many people confuse forgiveness with weakness. They think that if you forgive silently and walk away, you're letting someone win. But here's the truth. It takes immense strength to forgive and never speak again. It's a choice made from a place of self-respect, not fear. It's understanding that your peace is more valuable than being right or proving a point. And it's realizing that the person who hurt you doesn't get to occupy any more space in your mind. There's also a fascinating psychological trick that happens when you forgive silently. Your brain begins to create a sense of closure internally. When you don't express your forgiveness outwardly, you force your mind to process it on its own. This internal processing strengthens your emotional resilience. You learn to detach your feelings from external validation. You learn that you don't need someone else's apology to move on. You don't need them to admit their mistake. You don't need them to even understand. Your forgiveness is for you. It's only you. Another reason silent forgiveness is so effective is that it prevents unnecessary drama. Let's be honest. Confronting someone often comes with arguments, explanations, and sometimes even manipulation. People can twist your words, gaslight you, or refuse to take responsibility. By choosing silence, you completely bypass this toxic cycle. You disengage without any struggle. And in doing so, you protect your mental energy and focus on your own growth instead of theirs. Think about it this way. When you forgive someone in silence and never speak to them again, you're sending a powerful message without saying a word. You're saying your actions no longer have power over me. I have control of my life. I have control of my peace. And the most profound part, they may never even realize it. And that's the beauty of silent forgiveness. It's not about teaching them a lesson, it's about reclaiming your life. Many people struggle with the guilt of cutting someone off after forgiving them. They wonder if it's cruel, selfish, or unkind. But psychologists emphasize that self-preservation is not only natural, it's necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot maintain your mental health if you continue to invest energy in people who harm you. Silent forgiveness is a way to honor yourself while detaching from toxicity. It's an act of self-love, disguised as restraint. Interestingly, research in behavioral psychology shows that people who practice silent forgiveness are often happier in the long term. By not dwelling on past betrayals and choosing not to engage with toxic people, they free up mental space for joy, creativity, and meaningful connections. Every time you replay the hurt in your mind, you're giving that person a little control over your emotions. Silent forgiveness ends this cycle. You're reclaiming your emotional territory, one thought at a time. There's also an element of unpredictability that works in your favor. When someone hurts you and expects you to react, silence can confuse them. They may not understand why you're no longer responding. But this is not your concern. Their confusion is their problem. Your focus is on building your own life, healing your own wounds, and finding peace without relying on them. And in many cases, the person who hurt you never changes. They repeat patterns, make the same mistakes, and continue to drain others emotionally. By removing yourself, you break that cycle for yourself. Silent forgiveness also creates a sense of empowerment. Think about it. Every time you resist the urge to argue, to retaliate, or to justify your feelings, you strengthen your self-discipline. You prove to yourself that your emotions are yours to control. You demonstrate that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's actions or apologies. And over time, this builds a kind of inner fortitude that few people ever achieve. Here's another fascinating psychological fact. Forgiving in silence triggers what is called emotional regulation. Your brain releases stress hormones less frequently, and your overall mental clarity improves. You stop ruminating on the past. You stop getting caught in endless what-ifs and why-me thoughts. You focus on the present. You focus on building yourself rather than tearing others down. And this is why silent forgiveness can be more powerful than revenge. It restores your emotional balance. Instead of creating more chaos, it's also worth noting that silent forgiveness is a subtle form of boundary setting. By never speaking to someone again, you're clearly defining the limits of your emotional space. You're saying without words that you will no longer tolerate behavior that harms you. This sends a clear message not just to that person but to everyone else in your life. It teaches others how to treat you, and it reinforces your own self-worth. Boundaries are essential for psychological health. Silent forgiveness is one of the strongest boundaries you can set. Some might ask, but what about closure? Don't I need to talk to them to feel better? And the answer is, not necessarily. Closure is a mental state, not a conversation. Silent forgiveness creates closure internally. You acknowledge the hurt, you process it, and you let it go. You don't need external validation to feel whole. In fact, chasing closure through confrontation often prolongs the pain. While silent forgiveness ends it, this kind of forgiveness is especially important in relationships where the other person is toxic, narcissistic, or manipulative. People like this rarely change, and trying to reason with them often backfires. By forgiving silently and cutting ties, you remove yourself from their influence completely. You protect your emotional energy, your mental health, and your personal growth. And over time, you'll notice something incredible. The anger that once consumed you fades, replaced by calm, clarity, and an unshakable sense of inner peace. Silent forgiveness isn't easy. It requires patience, emotional intelligence, and courage. It's tempting to lash out, to seek revenge, or to demand acknowledgement. But the true power lies in restraint. The strength lies in walking away without a word. The wisdom lies in understanding that your peace is more valuable than being right. And the reward is freedom, the kind of freedom that allows you to live fully without being chained to past pain every time you forgive silently and never speak to someone again. You're choosing yourself over someone else's toxicity. You're choosing your growth over their drama. You're choosing your peace over their chaos. And over time, this practice transforms not just your relationships, but your entire life. You start to attract people who respect you, who value you, and who contribute positively to your journey. And the ones who hurt you? They become nothing more than a lesson, story from the past that no longer has the power to control you. So if you've ever been hurt, betrayed, or manipulated, remember this. Forgiveness does not mean you need to speak to them again. Forgiveness does not require reconciliation. Silent forgiveness paired with cutting toxic people out of your life is one of the most powerful psychological tools you can use. It heals your mind, strengthens your boundaries, and restores your peace. If you found yourself nodding along, if this video resonates with your experiences, then take a step today. Reflect on someone who hurt you. Forgive them silently. Release the anger, the resentment, and the need for closure. And if necessary, walk away completely. Protect your mental space, protect your peace, and protect your growth. Your mind will thank you, and your life will start to change in ways you never imagined. Before we end, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Psyche Edge here. We uncover the hidden truths about human psychology, emotional intelligence, and the secret behaviors that control our lives. By subscribing, you'll join a community of people who understand the mind, who value growth, and who refuse to let others dictate their emotional world. So click subscribe, turn on notifications, and take control of your mind and your life. Remember, silent forgiveness is not weakness. It's power. Cutting toxic people out is not cruelty, it's self-respect. Choosing your peace is not selfish, it's essential. And the next time someone hurts you, remember that you have a choice. You can give them power over your emotions. Or you can forgive silently and never speak to them again. Reclaiming your freedom and your life, your silence can be your greatest weapon. Your inner peace can be your strongest shield. And your decision to move on without confrontation can be the smartest move you ever make. So forgive quietly, let go completely, and live freely. Because life is too short to be trapped by the actions of someone who doesn't deserve a place in your heart or your mind.